The morning sky looked overcast as Dilraba stepped out of her production van onto the set of the drama that would change her life. You Are My Glory. At that time, he only knew that his co-star was Yang Yang, an actor whom he had long admired from a distance. They have never spoken in person, although they often attend the same events. That day, they were found. "Good morning," a soft but clear voice greeted from the side. Dilraba turned her head and saw Yang Yang wearing a black hoodie and a polite smile. "Good morning," was the short reply. No hugs. No familiarity. Only two professionals greet each other before starting their work. However, the crew knew this was no ordinary meeting. During the shooting of the first scene, the two had to interact like lovers who have known each other for years. Dinner scene at the rooftop restaurant, with hanging lights and a thick romantic atmosphere. "Cut!" shouted the director. But nothing moved. Yang Yang and Dilraba were still staring at each other after the scene ended. At a glance. Short. But enough to make the crew look at each other. It was perfect from the beginning, right? A lighting crew. No one answered. But everyone agrees in their hearts. Unexpected chemistry. Chemistry cannot be bought. And in the case of Dilraba and Yang Yang, that chemistry emerged even before the script was finished reading. Scene by scene went so well. Even when you have to do a hug scene or lean your head on your shoulder, there is no awkwardness in sight. Yang Yang would turn his head slowly and smile a little, then say, "If you're not comfortable, say yes." But Dilraba only replied with a nod and quietly complimented, "He is very polite." One day, in the scene when their characters share secrets with each other under the stars, the director holds his breath. Because without being asked, the one who touched Dilraba's hand, not part of the script. "Let it go," said the director. "That's natural." And when the episode aired, netizens immediately exploded. Are they acting or dating? The look on the face of it is too real. Behind the scenes, the atmosphere is also getting more fluid. They are often caught on camera laughing together during breaks, sometimes even staring at each other while one speaks in interviews, as if forgetting that the camera is on. But still, both keep boundaries. They know the world is watching. Unspoken codes. The first issue began to appear during the promotional session of the drama You Are My Glory. In one of the interviews, they were asked, "What was your first impression of your co-star?" The one who answers slowly but firmly, "She is very beautiful. But what makes me more comfortable, he is not arrogant." Dilraba laughed lightly. "I didn't expect him to be so calm. I used to think he was quiet and reserved." Fans began to dig deeper. On national television, they sat next to each other. The short video shows Yang Yang turning his head many times towards Dilraba, and as if wanting to talk, but hesitating, while Dilraba occasionally played with the ring on her finger, which was later discovered to be similar to the ring Yang Yang had worn in previous photoshoots. Fans call it couple code. Soon, netizens discovered that they were wearing a watch with a similar design. The next day, the topic #barang couple Dilraba Yang was trending on Weibo. Their manager immediately dismissed. It was just a coincidence. They're professionals. But fans can't be fooled. Too many coincidences to be called just coincidences. Meanwhile, another rumor circulated, that during night filming outside the city, they often sat together in folding chairs on the edge of the set, just looking at the sky over a cup of warm tea. "Why do you always look at the stars?" asked him one night. "Because among those thousands of lights, I wish there was one who understood me. The one who was silent." But since that night, he always carries a thermos of tea for two. The kissing scene between Qiao Jingjing and U2 is one of the most awaited moments in the drama You Are My Glory. However, behind the scenes, the scene kept a story that made the crew hold their breath. The filming location that night was deserted. The crew was trimmed so that the scenes went intimately and there were not too many people. Before the shot, Dilraba appears to be sitting alone with his eyes closed, clutching the shabby script in his hands. The one who approaches slowly. "If you're uncomfortable, I can keep my distance. We can discuss with the director," he said. Dilraba turned her head and smiled a little. It's okay. We've come this far. I believe you. When the camera starts recording, the mood changes. The one who approached, then gently touched Dilraba's face. The distance between them, then cut. The director did not stop, but Yang Yang withdrew for a moment. Not because of a technical error but because his eyes and Dilraba met for too long, too deep. I'm afraid it's too real, she whispered softly. But it feels real, doesn't it? Replied Dilraba softly. The next day, the crew began whispering. It wasn't just acting, said one of the property crew. We can all see. They forget that there is a camera. The issue also exploded on social media. A leaked behind-the-scenes clip shows Yang rubbing Dilraba's hair after the shoot ends. Small gestures, but full of meaning, between professionalism and feelings. Although both try to appear professional, the truth is that it is not easy to hide the emotions that begin to grow. One night, Dilraba cries inside her trailer after finishing an emotional scene. He was too immersed in character. And without much to say, Yang Yang approached, bringing a cup of warm tea. If it's too deep, just come out for a while, he said. I will wait. The words are simple, but touching. Why do you always know when I need someone? Asked Dilraba slowly. Because I need someone too, he replied quickly. But he immediately switched topics, trying to keep an emotional distance. However, the boundaries began to blur over time. They began to be caught on camera walking together to the set in the early hours of the morning, sharing umbrellas when it suddenly rained, or just sitting side by side in silence, and it was all captured by the crew's sleepless eyes. A silent gesture that is too real. Their togetherness is felt not only by the crew, but also by the fans. Ardent fans began to notice small gestures. How Yang Yang always turns his head when Dilraba speaks, how he paves the way for her on the red carpet, or how he pulls a chair for Dilraba during a promotion on a talk show. Another moment is when Dilraba stumbles down the stairs, and Yang reflexively grabs her hands, even though they are not being photographed. Fans immediately went crazy. It's not an actor's instinct, it's a couple's instinct. However, both management and both remained silent. Silence which is precisely considered a form of indirect recognition. Holiday rumors and couple stuff. Shortly after the drama ended, the internet was shocked by the news that Dilraba and Yang Yang were spotted at the airport on a flight to the same destination, the Maldives. The photos circulate, Dilraba in an oversized hoodie and large glasses, Yang Yang in a black jacket and hat. Each of them seemed to be trying to be inconspicuous. But for loyal fans, their silhouette and style of dress are very recognizable. Weibo was immediately excited. The hashtag Dilraba and Yang Yang is trending. However, there is no confirmation. Even more interesting, fans found out that in one of the latest photo shoots, Dilraba wears a black leather bracelet, the shape and stitching pattern of which is exactly what Yang Yang once wore. And vice versa, the one who was caught wearing a typical denim jacket that resembled Dilraba's personal collection. The media began to speculate, are they really in a relationship? However, the management remained silent. And the more they are silent, the greater the enthusiasm of the fans. When the camera is off, the heart keeps talking filming has long been over. The show ended and was a huge success. However, while attending the year-end awards gala, the two were again reunited. On stage, they exchanged only professional smiles. But a crew member photographed them backstage standing side by side, talking softly, laughing at each other, then silent in one moment that seemed like the world belonged to just the two of them. Dilraba once said in an interview, "Some people come into your life and change the way you see things. But that doesn't mean you can have it." Many believe it is aimed at the Yang Yang. While Yang Yang in a different interview stated, "There's someone I can't name, but every time I shoot with him, I forget that I'm acting." And fans know who he means. A love that may never be acknowledged until now. There has never been an official statement that Dilraba and Yang Yang are in a relationship. But all the traces, codes, gestures, to the gazes recorded by the camera tell something different. They are not a couple in reality, at least not yet openly. But in the hearts of fans, they are already a symbol about love that does not always have to be announced. It is enough to feel. Because perhaps, the deepest love is the one that is not spoken, but is evidenced by the silence, the look in the eyes, and the comfort that appears even without words.